Jorking it in the moonlight. Everybody's jorking it in the moonlight. Jorking it in the moonlight. Hey! Hi everyone. Today I'm wired. I'm tapped in. Just so that everyone knows, I do work for the government. I really don't, and I don't want to start that rumor. I saw a rumor about me on Reddit today that I love Drake. Where did that rumor come from? Damn, the girl loves the song Passion Fruit and Controlla because it was the album that encouraged me to break up with my boyfriend in high school, and now I'm labeled as a Drake lover. That is the most evil thing that I have ever been told. I made a quick detour. I'm driving back from Philly. It's actually currently Mother's Day. I just stopped for some lunch. Even though I worked at Chipotle for like over 4 years, I still do get Chipotle because it's like the easiest meal to get, and I know that it's gonna be vegan. I have a lot of driving to do today, and I was like, oh my god, let's kill two birds with one stone, because I already tried to film this video earlier. Before I dive in too deep into this video, I did want to mention that today's video is sponsored by hello. If you are driving a gray Porsche on Mother's Day on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, just know that you're gonna go to hell, and you're probably ugly. Before we get too far into this video, and before I get cut off by another Porsche, I did want to mention that today's video is sponsored by Curology. Thank you, Curology. Thank you so much, Curology, for sponsoring today's video. My skin feels happy. My skin feels healthy. I am not exaggerating when I say that this is the most confident that I've ever been in my skin, and I'm really excited for summer, where I do not feel the need to like cover my face in makeup because I am not feeling my best self because of my skin. Makeup is great. I love makeup, but the feeling of wearing heavy foundation in 99-degree weather because you personally do not like the look of your skin is very daunting and sweaty and sticky and not very comfortable. And I'm just really happy that thanks to my custom formula by Curology, I'm able to feel really confident and happy in my skin this summer. Uh-oh, hold on. Forehead reveal. No filter, no beauty filter, nothing. I also love that this comes right to my door. You guys know the drill. I went onto Curology's website. I did a little quiz about my skin, some concerns I have, and then a dermatology provider came up with a formula that works for my skin. And I'm a changing person, I'm evolving, and so if my skin ever needs a change, I can just reach back out to my dermatology provider and my formula can be changed. Love it, comes right to my door. I don't even have to think about when I finish a bottle because I know that a new one will be right there waiting for me. Also, love Curology's acne body wash so much. This has 2% salicylic acid. Don't act like you never had body acne. Don't act like the back of your legs have never been a little bumpy, okay? I know mine have. This is like my summer dream team right here. Anyway, if you would like to get started with Curology yourself, all you have to do is click the link that is on screen. It'll also be in my description, and you yourself can get started on your Curology journey today. Subscription required and subject to consultation. Thank you, Curology! On my channel, as of recent, it's been all fun and games. Like, it's been a fun, good time on my channel, right? So every few months, I need to humble you all real quick and like snap you guys back into reality and being like, do you remember that I have OCD? Guys, do you know that I suffer? We can't have fun on my channel all the time, okay? Sometimes I have to talk about my feelings. No, I think it would be me doing a disservice to not only myself, but to other people with OCD if I always constantly pretended that things were very, very okay with my OCD. I think I'm seen as a person, at least this is how people on the internet perceive me, because I don't think that people in my personal life perceive me this way. I think I'm perceived as very like functional, and like it's like, oh, she's fine. Like, her OCD does not fucking affect her. If you didn't know, I got diagnosed with OCD back in 2021. I've been in therapy for OCD for years now. I do exposure prevention response, exposure response prevention, exposure prevention and response, exposure and response prevention, exposure and response prevention. And it's been really great, and it's helped a lot, and medication has helped a lot. But I still have flare-ups, and something that I haven't seen like anyone else talk about with their OCD, because it is quite, I hate to say this, a quite niche experience. Like, I already feel extremely annoying talking about it, but I'm trying to look past that. The small chance that I may help someone else, and also because my therapist recommended it to me. But basically, I wanted to talk about how me having a bigger following, because things have grown quite quickly the last year, which I'm extremely grateful for. Do not get me wrong, like, this is like literally like my childhood dream. Like, literally, like, as a little kid, all I ever wanted to be was either a ballerina, and then I like never went to dance classes, so that didn't happen, a veterinarian, but then I found out they have to put animals down, and then a YouTuber. which I was like, oh, I can do that. I can. You are just annoying enough to actually maybe make a career off of YouTube. That worked out. However, with that all being said, I cannot clarify this enough. I'm going to try to not give too many disclaimers because that is actually something that I'm working on in therapy. I literally give disclaimers in my real fucking life, like not just in videos, but I'm like, disclaimer, just so that everybody knows I'm not trying to be mean and I'm not trying to blah, 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 blah. Me talking about my experience is not me saying that I am not grateful for what I have, because that is absolutely not the case. Like, I am beyond grateful for everything that I have. This is not me asking for people to change the way that they treat me. This is actually quite literally the opposite. I want people to continue to treat me the way that they treat me. This is a me and a personal issue that I need to work on myself. It's just something that I haven't heard anyone else talk about, and that's why I want to talk about it. However, what I strictly do not want this to become is for me to be like coddled and to be treated differently, or for people to be afraid of making me uncomfortable, or suddenly like viewing me differently, or thinking that I have a big ass fucking ego. I'll cut the shit with the disclaimers. Anyway, how do I start this? I love meeting subscribers. I think it's the coolest thing in the world to meet someone who has taken the time to watch me yap. That's so cool. What do you mean that you're watching me yap? What do you mean that you sat there and watched me yap for like 20 minutes? What do you mean? What do you mean you didn't like find my voice annoying enough to click off? That's so sweet. And then let alone we end up at the same place at the same time. That's very, very cool. I've never had like a genuine, really bad experience with someone, like where I'm like, fuck, that was not good. Like that was really, really bad. That is not the case. However, I do think that it's important to give some backstory. Also, look at my nails. Lucky Gloss on Instagram. Okay. Basically a few years ago, I got threatened and I became very, very scared to leave my house and also very scared to go out in public. I basically developed pretty bad paranoia because of that entire situation. I almost view my life as like before the incident happened and then like after the incident happened, because with a lot of that situation, it has changed me and the type of person that I am. I became like very, very protective after that of like not only myself but my family. I was out here like buying a bat. I don't know if I'll put this in the video. I like genuinely considered getting like a gun license. Like, I'm just being completely transparent. Like, it rocked me to my fucking core and changed me as the person that I am today. And I don't wish that upon anyone. And anyone who has gotten threatened like that, I feel like we get each other now, because I never fucking understood what that meant to feel so fearful just existing, especially in your own space. Anyway, that took a lot of time to get over. It was a lot of paranoia. It literally became exposure for me to leave my house. I almost would go out in like disguises. If I saw that there was a car parked outside of my house, I would get so paranoid. Just so you guys understand, cars being parked outside of my house is completely normal. But I started to become so paranoid about it, and I was like, something's wrong. I'm in danger. This is not safe. And that's just simply not the type of person that I ever was. It took a lot of work. Part of it was like kind of a little bit running away and moving to a different city to try and get away from that fear all the time. And it definitely did help. Not 100%, not all the way, but it definitely did help. A lot of therapy, medication, a good support system around me. It took a lot. It took a fucking lot. And so essentially, fast forward to like last year, I go to a party in New York City. Everything's good. I'm just really anxious because like meeting people is very anxiety inducing for me, and I have a friend with me, and I'm very, very stressed out the whole time. But I start making conversation with like a group of people, and they're very, very sweet. We're talking for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Very kind. It's like one of those parties, everyone's drinking. I was not, because I was driving home that day. I don't think we've ever even like introduced ourselves or said our names. Like, we were just talking to one another. I'm talking about things in my personal life and being very like transparent and vulnerable and whatever, just having a normal person-to-person conversation. And as this person is getting more and more drunk towards the end of the night, and then they say their first name, what their first name is. And it was like the wheels were turning inside of my brain. And in that moment, I was like, oh my God, you've been a subscriber of mine for years. Please bear with me. Please, please. I do not want to get misunderstood. This person was extremely kind. This person was extremely nice. This person had never said to me that they were a subscriber of mine. And I don't think that it is like this obligatory rule that like when you are meeting someone that you are subscribed to, that you need to say that like you watch their videos. I'm not saying that. But I thought that I was meeting someone for the first time. And I was meeting someone for the first time. But in a weird sense, it was not like their first time meeting me. And I recognized this name for years at this point because they were like a frequent commenter on my videos. And I was like, oh fuck. And I instantly became so extremely anxious. Conversation somehow ended. I told my friend immediately, like, like, we gotta go. We have to go. And I drove back to Philly. And I was so anxious the entire way home and like paranoid because I was like, did I say something fucked up? Did I say something stupid? Did I say something sinister and evil that I shouldn't have? Even though I don't think that I did, but I was extremely anxious. What if I did? What if I revealed personal information about myself that I really want to keep private? What if I revealed something that I don't really want someone who is subscribed to my videos to know about? And it just made me feel very, very uncomfortable, and it sat with me for a really, really long time, and I couldn't understand why, because there were close friends of mine that I would tell this to, and they would be like, I understand why you're uncomfortable, and then there would be other friends who were like, I don't think it's that big of a deal, like nothing happened, nothing bad happened, but I couldn't shake this like uncomfortableness feeling. I guess what I'm trying to say is that it made me a little bit sad that this person was having a conversation with me and talking with me and trying to conversate with me as if they didn't know some of the answers, because some of the questions that they asked me, they definitely knew the answers to 100%. And I just couldn't understand why this bothered me so much and made me so anxious. Essentially, since that incident last year, that has happened quite a few more times, where I will talk with someone for a few hours, get to know them, we're having a great conversation, and then something slips out that indicates that they have watched my videos or that they've been subscribed for years. Like, because I genuinely felt like I don't know. I'm having a hard time talking about this because I genuinely do not want to make it seem like I am being insensitive, but I also want to be honest because this just is like the reality of my career and like my situation and how it affects my mental health. I just don't want to hurt anyone, but I also want to be honest about this in case someone else feels like this. There was another situation where I met this person and we talked for hours and hours and hours and hours, and it was a really good time and everything was great. The only reason that this person was in this situation was because they knew that I would be there. I'm going to try and put on my sunglasses and see if I'm more comfortable talking about it if I put my sunglasses on. Is this better? I actually do think this is better for me. I had a conversation for a few hours. This person was very kind, very nice, and then something got slipped in toward the end where it made me realize, like, I recognize who this person is because they have DM'd me a lot. And I know exactly who this person is, but they led me to think that this was like our first interaction. And that would make me really paranoid because I'm like, did this person specifically bring up things that like they know that I'm interested in solely because they knew that that would get me to talk with them more? Was I kind of being manipulated with talking with this person because they had like previous information on me and I did not know anything about them prior? Anyway, once again, like, left that situation, gave me immense anxiety. I had terrible, terrible, terrible anxiety. And what would happen is I would like usually leave that situation. It almost always has happened like in the evening, have terrible anxiety for the rest of the day, and then the next day I wake up in like such a horrible depression. I feel so fucking depressed, and I like can't understand, I guess, like why or what's happening. And it just happened again a little bit more recently. Met somebody, they were very, very kind, had a great conversation with them. I was like, cool, I'm like hitting it off with someone. My social anxiety is high because my social anxiety has gotten a lot worse in public situations recently. They're like asking me, they're like, what's your name? And I say Nicole, and they say, you look a lot like a Nicole. They're asking questions about my life, and I'm being open and whatever, just for me to go home. And I see that on Instagram they've been following me for like months, and they have DM'd me in the past. Once again, the whole pattern of like the anxiety and the depression hits like really bad. And I'm like, fuck. Like, and I don't feel like I can talk about this with anyone. I've talked about it with a few of my close friends, and I've talked about it in therapy. But it's hard because it's like none of my friends really like relate to this because none of my friends really do social media like that. And I feel like it's such like a privileged ass thing to complain about. Like, people know me and people watch my content and don't always disclose to me that they know who I am. And I feel weird about it. But I guess I was doing a little bit more reflecting on the entire situation. Let's compare my situation where I was threatened. I literally felt like I got attacked by dogs, okay? Like I was attacked by dogs. These dogs were barking at me. These dogs were kind of following me. These dogs were like giving me signs and indicating that these dogs were watching my moves. And I became really afraid of dogs, okay? But then I got better with dogs, okay? Like I started going to like therapy to get better and more comfortable around dogs. I wasn't afraid of dogs for a while. I felt pretty okay about them. I would see them here and there every so often, but it wasn't that big of a deal. And then suddenly I'm really afraid of dogs again because dogs are kind of barking at me a little bit more consistently. But except they're like fucking Pomeranians. And I'm like, why the fuck am I afraid of Pomeranians? So I feel so stupid and ashamed, and I don't want to tell anyone that I'm afraid of this like gaggle of Pomeranians, but here I am. The dogs are not symbolism of people. The dogs are symbolism of perceivement. Me trying to make it deep when I'm fucking talking about Pomeranians. Sorry, no offense if you have a Pomeranian, but those dogs are not deep. My best friend has 2 Pomeranians. Those bitches are not deep. They have 1 brain cell, maybe 1.5. Guess what I've been afraid of recently is this fear of being perceived, and since it's happening a lot more recently, I'm really not as comfortable with it as I thought I would be. Not to fucking compare myself to Sabrina Carpenter, because believe me, I'm not comparing myself to Sabrina Carpenter at all. But in my like last video, I kind of talk about like this slow rise to fame, like Chappell Roan and Sabrina Carpenter. Like they were working for like 10 years before like they saw success. I've been making YouTube videos for a really, really, really long time, and I'm not picking up that much traction until pretty much now. And I love it. I'm so grateful for it. I'm so happy that like all my hard work is paying off. And even though I have met a lot of people, I guess I am just not used to like the social aspect of it. And I guess I'm not as comfortable in social situations as much as I thought I was. And that's why I keep like wanting to reiterate, I love meeting subscribers more than anything. If you have ever met me in person, you know I'm not the most charismatic person. I'm definitely a little bit awkward and uncomfortable. But I try my fucking best, and I love it regardless, because that's the one thing about me. I will continue to do things that make me uncomfortable. I love meeting people who support me. There's no fucking doubt about that. I guess what's hard for me right now is the feeling of feeling like I'm in danger when in reality I'm not. Just because that situation from a few years ago, I felt really, really, really in danger, and people who I didn't know knew things about me, and I was being perceived way more than I thought I was, and I was afraid to go to the grocery store because I was constantly afraid that someone who wanted to hurt me would maybe be there. And I think my brain is just having a hard time distinguishing the difference between that and this. Even though like nothing bad is happening, these are people who support me and like whatever, and they're just not disclosing right up front that they watch my videos. But as soon as I pick up on like, oh my god, this person knows a little bit more information about me than I thought they did, it sends me into like a panic, because once again I feel like I'm younger Nicole in this situation where I did feel like I was in danger, and I was out here like fucking looking at gun licenses. I hope that this makes sense. I'm really trying my absolute best to, I guess, clarify and talk about this in the way that I'm feeling without also sugarcoating it, without also like, the whole point of me talking about this is that like I don't want it to seem like I have OCD and I'm on meds and I'm in therapy and like now everything's okay. I still have a very fucked way of viewing things, and I still have a lot more paranoia than maybe the average person does, and a lot of anxiety and a lot of overthinking. I can't tell you how many hours of my life I have spent overthinking interactions that I have had with others, even if that's like my good friends, and feeling so absolutely devastated and depressed after hanging out with people because I feel like I fucked up really bad even though we just had a great time. Like it takes everything in me to resist texting my friends after hanging out. Hey, sorry if I was weird. Hey, I'm so sorry if you thought that I was weird. Hey, sorry if I acted like a fucking weirdo today. Because I want to do that. I want to do that. I guess like when I'm in these situations where I'm meeting people and they're not saying to me like, hey, I know your videos, and like just having like a normal conversation with them after that, in my head, I'm overthinking everything because I'm like, fuck, I already have this anxiety when it comes to meeting subscribers because I just want to make sure that I show my appreciation to literally every single person, and that everything is good, and that I didn't accidentally punch them in the face and I don't remember, and like that, you know, they're having a good experience with me, and like I'm living up to the expectation and the hype of like the Nicole Rafiee that is online and stuff. Basically, I leave these conversations feeling double the amount of anxiety because I am like, fuck, what the hell did I say to this person? What the hell do they think of me? It almost makes me feel like people are like in on this whole like gotcha moment for me, even though that's most likely not the case. I have to say most likely because I should not use definitive answers. Like for example, with OCD therapy, I can't say like, not gonna crash this car. Like, I have to be like, there is always a chance that I could crash this car. The chances are low because I'm paying attention to the road, I'm sober, and I'm very attentive to the road, but the chances are never zero. Isn't that fucked? Isn't that fucked that that's what like OCD therapy is like? Like, regular therapy is about like assurance and making you feel good. OCD therapy is like, you have a fear about like killing your cat. You have to be like, well, there is a chance that I could kill my cat. For exposure, then you have to like say like very awful and terrible things like, yeah, there's a chance I could like brutally murder my cat. And there's just nothing I can do about that. I fucking hate that. I mean, I love it because like I am continuing with the therapy and it really helps, but God, it fucking it's hard. And when I try and explain OCD therapy to people, they're like, fuck. I guess I've just been in this like new category of like social interactions, which are kind of like sort of parasocial relationships, except like I'm not always entirely aware of them. And I guess I just don't really have anyone to talk about that with. And I guess I'm kind of struggling with that because I've just never gone through that before. But it's also my responsibility of like working on that and how I manage that. Like, I'm not gonna put out a disclaimer like, hey guys, if you meet me out in public, you have to disclose that you have watched 2 of my videos. It's the law. Like, that'd be fucking weird. I do think that it's fair to say, like, if I were to meet a mutual friend, like a friend's friend, like out in the wild, out in public, our mutual friend did not introduce us to each other, like I just met them. And I know everything about them because my friend has told me about them. And if I were to just have like a normal conversation with them and never disclose like, hey, oh my God, you're Jenny's friend. Like, I've heard so much about you. Like, how are you? I'm Jenny's friend, Nicole. Like, I don't know if I would personally do that. I don't know. If I ever have met someone who I am a fan of their content, I do say to them, I like your work. It's really cool. And then, you know, we have like a conversation after that. I guess I just never have run into the experience of like, I guess having like a 2-hour long conversation with someone and not disclosing to them that I do in fact know a little bit more information about them than they know about me. And I think having OCD and anxiety and paranoia and what the fuck not definitely adds layers to this that I guess I just like wasn't expecting. I do feel better. I do feel better. I do feel better. I think it took me a while to get my words out because I'm very, very nervous of saying like, I guess the wrong thing and being perceived as a big old bitch and like, oh, Nicole got weird. I've always had anxiety. This is just a new experience for me, okay? This video is intended exactly what it sounds like it's meant for me to yap and for me to trauma dump. I don't think I was trauma dumping, but oh, to be a little old man who golfs in the rain, right? Who knows? Who knows if this video will ever make it to the internet. I did also want to mention, oh my God, I missed my turn. Before I get to my destination. Me and now it's over 70 creators, which is crazy because it started off as being like 30 creators, but now 70 plus creators are a part of Creators for Palestine, and we have raised over $350,000 the last time that I checked the Tiltify page, which is absolutely insane. We are donating across 4 different organizations that desperately need funds for on the ground what is currently happening in Gaza. We're donating to PCRF, UNRWA, MAP, and HEAL. And so those funds go to people who desperately need that money, are sick, injured, food, drinking water, clean medical supplies, medical attention. Our goal is to get to $1 million. And if everyone who watched this video would donate just $1, think of how much money we could continue to grow this. Not to mention that like I am one of 70 people who is now in this entire group, but it's just been like totally wonderful. So if you would like to donate, I have the link down in my description and in the rest of my social medias, but please consider donating because it has been like absolutely wonderful to be a part of this community, and everyone in the group is so awesome and cares about this cause so much. Was I weird? Was I weird? Tell me, was I weird? I'm literally having anxiety right now about what I just talked about. I have anxiety over what I just talked about, even though everything that I talked about is true, and I'm just expressing my feelings about it. I need to work on that. I need to work on that. I need to work on feeling confident, speaking my mind again, because I have fucking lost that. I have lost the ability to talk honestly and earnestly about how I feel and my anxieties and things that I don't necessarily love and things that I'm struggling with without feeling like I did something wrong, like without feeling like I am at fault for something, like I should apologize for something. Like, oh, I shouldn't bring this up, I shouldn't talk about this because like I'm at fault for this. Anyway, if you yourself deal with anxiety, paranoia, OCD, PTSD, like literally any of the things that I've talked about like on my channel about this kind of stuff, just know that I am totally with you. I wish that I had better words. I wish that I was like, I have a solution for you. I don't have a solution for you because I'm still going through it and will probably for the remainder of my life, but it's just about like managing it the best that I can. I feel like I've made so much progress in my life. I feel like I am such a happier person than I was even a few years ago. I feel like that shows through my videos, but also like everyone in my personal life can see that I am doing so much better because of all the work that I have put in with OCD treatment. But it's hard. It's really fucking hard. And the last thing I want to do is become like antisocial or become a person who does not want to go out in public or fear talking to new people or fear having conversations because for the fear and anxiety that I am going to give myself future fear and anxiety, or that I'm going to do something wrong, or that maybe someone talks to me and they watched all my videos and they never disclosed to me that they have watched my videos, and what if I say something to them that is maybe a little bit too personal about me, or what if I say something that I can't take back? And I need to slowly learn how to let that go, and I cannot allow myself to become antisocial. Like, I'm not allowing myself to get to a point where I get stagnant with my progress because I need to continue to do that. But I know for a fact that if I was in the place mentally where I was a few years ago and this was my situation, I know I would become antisocial. And I know that I would not be leaving my house again and not, going to fun social situations and meeting new people, and just for the fear of fear. And so for that, I am really proud of myself. Speaking of which, back in my hometown. Yay! That was good. That was good. That was good. That was good, Nicole. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't good. Maybe you said something really awful and terrible. Maybe you said something really awful and terrible and hurtful, and people will be really upset with you after this. And there's nothing I can do about it. I'm gonna end this video. I'm gonna go have fun with my mom for Mother's Day. My mother! Make sure to subscribe if you want to be nasty, if you're not disgusting. Also, make sure you bell notifications so you know every single time I post, or else you are gross. If you want to follow me on my other social media, Instagram, Twitter, Deep Spotify, it's just @Rafiee. And if you want to follow me on my TikToks @NikkiNasty. I have merch, and I also have a podcast. And also, if you're able to, please make sure to donate to Creators for Palestine because it would mean so much to me. I'm gonna go now before I dox myself. Bye bye.